Are you a saver? Are you a saver? Are you a saver? Since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, it was ingrained in me to save. And save I did. I collected my pennies, my nickels, my dimes, and I put them in a big pink piggy bank. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Today, I don't have a big pink piggy bank, but I still save. I learned the lesson well. Today, I save RRSP money. Is everybody familiar with that? The RRSP? Quick show of hands if you've thought about it, have done it, wish to do it again. Well, stats are somewhere around 40 to 60% of Canadians actually contribute on some regularity towards an RRSP. So I learned a very valuable lesson in life, saving. But I'm here today to tell you that the more important lesson, the lesson on managing what you save, I did not learn. And I learned two important lessons in life, and that was that you have to take charge of what you've saved. So, I'm going to share with you two stories, real life stories. It was tax year 2015. My wife and I head out to the appointed financial planner at the bank, and we go through the routine. Everybody knows the routine? 30 minutes of questions to make sure the bank has zero liability. 5 minutes of selecting the RSP and handing over your hard-earned dollars. That's the way that works. It's all about getting the bank off the hook and taking your money. Okay? Very simple. You know what? I walked out of that meeting not thinking anything different about it. Same old, same old. Been there, done that. And I have to admit, a few months later, I actually sat down and I looked at these RRSPs. And something amazing happened. I realized that you can get the same mutual fund for a much lower fee in a self-directed account. Something the bank financial planner would never tell you. Why is that? Because the financial planner works for the bank and not for you. Now, how important was this little bit of information? Because to be honest, it took me 10 years to get there, but learning it only took about half an hour. I wish I was told, though. But that can't happen. Well, routine mutual funds will charge you 1.76, 1.8% management fee. That same mutual fund managed by the same team of fund managers in a self-directed account will charge you about 1.2. And you go, Andrew, what's so important? 1.8 is pretty close to 1.2. When you do the math, depending on how much you have, how long you have to save, that little percentage, that 0.5, 0.6% can add up to $15,000 to $30,000. It adds up. And I didn't do the official discount cash flow, etc., etc. That's just taking it off the top. 15K in your pocket by moving everything to a self-directed account. Now, what's the value of that extra 0.5, 0.6% that the bank is charging you when you hold that fund on the banking account? And I sat there and I thought about it and I couldn't come up with a justification. But disclosure, I am not a certified financial planner. But I couldn't figure it out. So guess what I did? I took charge and I moved it all over into a self-directed account. And I thought, oh, that's pretty good. Learned something. Okay. Lesson number 1. Take charge, do your homework. Don't assume the financial planner at the bank is actually working for you. Now comes this year. Now, the bank had no interest in me anymore. So I shuffled the money over to the investment arm. But they were interested in my wife. So I get to go to this meeting with the appointed certified financial planner because we're doing a spousal RSP. Everybody familiar with that one? Great technique. Money goes into my wife's account, I get the discount, and we share the, the return. Wonderful thing. So, financial planner obviously had taken a peek at my account and saw things were no longer under his domain. He was not a happy guy. I give him credit for doing homework. So, conversation turns to what we should do with the Canadian Dividend Fund. This is a good old fund, blue chip, steady eddy, low risk. But for those who follow the market, exactly. That lovely Canadian mutual fund that we bought the year prior, well, in February it was down 20%. I should have sold it. I don't know why. Didn't. Okay. Down 20%. Toxic environment. The certified financial planner is very adamant that we should move from this Canadian dividend fund holding these blue chip companies into a balanced fund. Now, a balanced fund is a mix of bonds and stock. Very conservative. Anybody familiar with what a bond would return today? A typical government bond?
About less than 2%.
Way less than 2%. 0.75 if you're lucky, below the rate of inflation. Now they'll be buying some corporate bonds and they make it to 3. Oh wow, only 1% up.
Around 2.
Right? So the reality is the market crashed to here. If we had taken the advice, we would have locked in the loss. Because you would have flipped essentially into a bond fund and locked in the loss. There's no volatility left. There's no upside. And I asked the gentleman a very simple question. I said, what is the bank's outlook for the Toronto Stock Exchange for the end of the year? Now, he should know because I'm watching BNN. They're telling me, well, the gurus think it's all going to work out at the end of the day. Yeah, it's going to go marginally up, maybe 5%, maybe 3%, but you know, it's really not going to be down there in the cellar like it currently is. So, being pragmatic, I said, no, we're going to stick to where we are. Because you honestly can't justify your position on this because you're not telling me where the bank really believes the TSC is going. After the meeting, I came to the conclusion that the real reason for this recommendation was simply that I cannot find the equivalent select balance fund in the self-directed account. Therefore, I cannot move recommend to my wife to move her funds off the bank books into the self-directed account for lower MER. His strategy was all around how do I keep money under my management, not what is best for you. So, very important lesson I thought to take away is you have to take charge of your finances. And I'll tell you what, this topic bores the tears of my wife. She's just, not interested. But, let me suggest, if I was to say, would you like to have a retirement home in Belize? Would you like to have a little sailboat putting around Georgian Bay and Christian Island when you retire? Would you be more interested in focusing on the management of the savings that you've accumulated? And that, I think, is very important. Is all of a sudden you go, well, you know what? I could spend a half an hour a day on this, no problem. Right? I can see the eventual benefits. So, to recap, very important to take charge of what you've saved. It's a more important lesson than the lesson that I actually learned, which was saving. Saving is the first step. It's what you do with it that counts. So thank you so much.